Hey guys, Alex here from Homeschool of Bel Air. Today's video is going to be a quick look into the 2019-2020 school year as far as my kindergartner goes. If you're interested to see how her school year has gone, stay tuned. Okay, so as far as our 2019-2020 school year for Evelyn, a lot has changed for her. I want to say maybe a few months ago, we pretty much stopped doing everything. Basically, everything that I started with in the beginning of the school year, we're probably most likely not even doing anymore. I'm going to try to show you guys exactly, because I haven't really moved anything from her work boxes. I haven't moved anything around. I haven't changed anything. So I'll show you guys what we started the school year with, and then basically what we're doing now and what I'm hoping for come July. So, okay, so the best way to start this again is just going to be in the order that we normally do our schoolwork in. So as far as writing, Evelyn was working out of the letters and numbers for me. And this is from the Handwriting Without Tears company. This we loved. I did notice that Evelyn likes to doodle quite a bit. So you guys are going to see a lot of doodles on this page. There was times where I would have her do her letter formations on her little chalkboard. For the most part, this is a great curriculum. We absolutely love it. But we did stop working from it. I might have her work from it throughout the summer, just so she can finish off her pages. We got to about page 63. And what I was noticing with just the last couple of pages of her working in, she was just getting a little bit more doodly, if you guys can see all this. And like I said, I'm okay with that. It's just that it was just too distracting. And we're gonna go ahead and probably take off from the letter Z, and then just have her work on some of these pages with the word formations in the next couple of weeks, just like I said, so we can finish off the book. So this is what Evelyn was working on. We love this curriculum. I'm going to give you guys a quick peek into, and I was going to save it for our next year's school curriculum video, but it's something that she was working on. When we stopped working on this a couple weeks ago, there was a reason for it. So it wasn't because we didn't like this curriculum. We didn't stop working from it because she didn't like it. It was just mainly because I found something else that kind of goes with her reading, and I'll show you guys that in a second. Okay, so that is this. Like I said, I'm going to continue to have her work from this, hopefully through the summer, just to finish it off. Okay, as far as phonics and reading, we were working out of the McGraw-Hill reading. This we stopped pretty early on. We stopped in page 135, and this curriculum I love. I've done a complete review on this curriculum itself. I had Adrian use it when he was in kindergarten with me, and he took off with the reading right from the start, actually. The issue that I was having with Evelyn not really taking off with this is her memorization of the sight words. She wasn't memorizing the sight words, and every week you introduce a sight word, but you have to memorize it, and you have to, in order for you to move on, basically, you have to know those sight words, because by this lesson, if you guys can see, you're basically already reading with those sight words and then some of the phonetic sounds that you've learned. I am teaching Evelyn phonetically, so she is able to somewhat decode these words and sound them out. But the sight words are her main issue, and that is where we're struggling. So because of that, we have taken a break from this. We might start using it again once I can get her to work on her sight words a little more. So I do have her practice her sight words every single day. We have flashcards with all the sight words that she's basically already learned, and we kind of go through them every single day. I even have them on her little focus wall right behind here. And she hasn't mastered them. She hasn't mastered the ones that she should have already mastered. So I felt like it was almost dumb for me to keep trying to push her through, because this curriculum, one of the things about this curriculum is that it is very sight word based. So you have to learn these sight words. And so we stopped working on this. We stopped working on her kindergarten sight word workbook because we kind of just got to the sight word that she was at. And like I said, if I do want to continue working having her work from this, then we'll take off with the sight word book that I created for her, because these sight words are the ones introduced in this book in the same order. So instead of that, what I ended up doing was I found this practice book from Macmillan McGraw-Hill. So it's probably the same company. When it comes to the McGraw-Hill, obviously they have different strands of literature and phonics and reading programs. The McGraw-Hill reading, this is an older one. Some of the new ones that they have are the treasures. And you do need, one of the biggest differences is that this was a work textbook. And the treasures, because I'm familiar with it, I had a teacher that lived next door to my mom's house. Her school worked with treasures, so I was pretty familiar with it. And treasures, you need the textbooks, and then it's kind of like the hardcore trophies, the older ones where you have the textbooks and then you have the workbook. Online, you can find the workbook for free. So that's what I printed out for her. Now, I don't have the readers. I obviously don't have the textbooks to go with this. But what I liked about this one is that it's more phonetically based. So it's based more on phonic sounds. It's based more on letter. You do get your sight words, but they're not introduced as heavily as they are in the McGraw-Hill reading. This one here, it's more, and even the beginning of the sight words, like for instance, I can is phonetically correct. So Evelyn was able to read that. So we were having a little better time with this one. And we didn't get super far. We're still working from it. Again, I am. It was a phonetically correct word, so she was able to sound that out. So like I said, she was just having a better time with this book. So this is what we will continue to work from, at least for a little while, until I feel like I can get her ready enough with her sight words to continue on with this. So that is where we're at as far as this goes. So let me go ahead and move that. Okay, so now this is all about reading. This is how I break up the lessons. I put them inside of these little folders, and I do 10 lessons at a time. I do this for the boys as well. And I cut everything out. I put the cards that you're going to need for that lesson inside of these little plastic protective sheets. And then we glue them into our, what I like to call like the little reading interactive notebook. We make it into like a little interactive notebook. We didn't get anywhere with this. We didn't even start it. The reason we didn't even start this is because in order for you to start level 1, you have to have mastered your letter sounds. And Evelyn still has not mastered all her letter sounds. And if you're familiar with lesson 1 of All About Reading, you basically start with the letter P, I think it is, the letter, I forgot what other letter, the J. And those are 2 actual sounds that Evelyn has not mastered. So it's going to be, again, dumb for me to have her start this if I know pretty well that she's not going to be able to work from even lesson 1. So I'm going to save this. We're going to go ahead and hopefully start this in the beginning of the school year come fall. Which I have no issue with it. This is a level 1. Some kids started in kindergarten. Some kids started in first grade. For my boys, I've always started it in first grade. So I don't know. I think I was being too eager with Evelyn to start it in kindergarten. That is where we're at as far as All About Reading. Okay, for phonics, we were also using Explode the Code 1. And with this, because she already knows some of the sounds, we were able to work from this. Obviously, this I did have to sit with her and show her some of the letter sounds. For the most part, she knows all of these letter sounds. There was a few like the qua that she didn't know. The Z, not the Z, I'm sorry, the J she has trouble with. We didn't get very far with this. We only worked from it a couple of days. She got to page 7. Was it 7? Yeah, we got to page 7 and then we stopped. Because these are some of the letter sounds that she's mastered and some of the 3-letter words or the CVC words. But I stopped her there because in this page, again, they introduced some of the sight words like on, which she knows on now, actually. Now she knows on. She learned it from the Bob books, actually. And I think that was the only word that she was actually having a hard time with when we stopped doing this. She might actually be able to do it now. So again, I'm going to save it and we'll probably just work from it in the fall, pick it back up. So that is where we're at as far as Explode the Code. Okay, so one of the other things we started the school year with was the Words Their Way notebook, the word study. And with this guy here, we only got like 7 lessons in. And it wasn't because we didn't like it. You guys know I love this curriculum. Part of the reason was because I decided to stop and just kind of focus on what we were working on, which were her letter sounds. I might have her, what I was thinking is having her work through this through summer, because we got to the pages where it's some letter recognition. So I might actually have her start working on it again pretty soon. But like I said, we didn't get very far with it. What I'm thinking is seeing you get into letter sounds. So like I said, we stopped using it pretty early on. We got to about lesson 7. This is something that she was enjoying, and she was actually getting pretty good at the rhyming words. And we stopped because this is basically where everything kind of halted when it comes to the McGraw-Hill reading. And I decided to take all this stuff out and just focus on the reading. Once I think I can get her somewhat situated with her letter sounds this summer, I might have her start working from it again, because after lesson 7 is where we actually start with the letter recognition. And then after that, you do some letter sound, beginning sounds. So I think we're going to take off from this again. I'm kind of giving her a little mental break and just kind of focus on those letter sounds for now. Just so all this can, I don't know. I feel like it was just too much workload for her. So we'll continue working on this. You guys know I love this curriculum. I mentioned it in another video how it's becoming a little harder to find these Words Your Way notebooks. So I don't think we'll keep working on this for the next school year. And not because I don't want to, just because it's harder to find. So that is where I'm at as far as the Words Their Way. Okay, so these are the things that I'm using right now with Evelyn as far as reading and phonics. Because like I said, we've taken a break from basically the McGraw-Hill reading. We've taken a break from basically everything, at least for the summertime. So, but this is what I'm working on with her. As far as phonics and reading, just to kind of keep her going. So one of the main things is the reading lesson book. We take it very slow. We've always taken it slow. We're barely on lesson 3. And if you guys see all the stickers, if you guys are familiar with the reading lesson, one lesson is pretty long. So all these little stickers are the pages that she mastered for each lesson. And then we get to move on. So right now she's mastered lesson 1 and lesson 2. And we are currently working on lesson 3. And I broke it up with little tabs on the side telling me where the lessons begin. And then I do tab it out as to where I'm at. So as far as lesson 3, we have jumped into the E or the G, E, and the sound. And she's doing okay with this. She's here now. We do go back and forth with these lessons. If you guys notice in the little chart, she doesn't have any stickers on lesson 3 yet. That means she hasn't mastered any of these pages. In order for her to get a sticker, she has to master the pages. So that is how I'm using this book. And so far, so good. She's enjoying this book. We play different games with it. With these pages here, we use these little guys here. And I'll either bring out phonic cards or like picture cards. Or I just tell her like, elephant, and she'll have to figure out the beginning sound of elephant. So elephant. And then we cover it up. There's times where I've had her cover them up with stickers. And I think in the past she's covered them up with stickers. Let me see if she has a page. And then I'll show you guys what those stickers are for too there. Yeah, like this one, she got to cover them up with stickers as she learned the sounds. So these areas here were the ones that these are the stickers next to the sentences are how many times she read those sentences. So every single time we would go through this, through these words, she would get a sticker. So that is what those little stickers are. And she would get really excited about going through the sentences, reading them correctly, and getting her sticker. Some of these are just words that she's mastered, and we added little stickers next to them. And that is basically how we're using this book. It is a great reading book. I am hoping to continue to use this through summer and part of next year. It does move along rather slow, but then by midway, you are reading pretty big sentences and big stories. So I'm pretty excited to move ahead with Evelyn. My boys never even made it that far with this book, and I never allowed them to write in it. With Evelyn, I'm allowing her, because she's my last, to write in it and do whatever she wants with it. So that is what we're working from. So to accompany this is going to take me back to writing. What we've been working on as far as writing, how I told you guys how how I had mentioned how we had stopped working on the All About Writing because I had found something different. I went ahead and went with the Teach Me Handwriting, and this is a book that accompanies the reading lesson. And I found this kind of late in the game, but because we started using the reading lesson a lot more with Evelyn, I decided to go ahead and buy her the handwriting book. And the lessons basically just kind of accompany the lessons and the words that you're learning in the reading lesson. So we like it quite a bit. So this is basically what Evelyn has been working out of. On this book, we're on lesson 3. This book, we're still on lesson 2 because we're going, I think I mentioned it before, we kind of go back and forth with the lessons because I do want her to really master those words. And these kind of words, I don't allow her to write it unless she can read it. So for instance, this one, she was having a hard time with the capital D because we sometimes do work a lot more with the lowercase letters. So if you notice here, all the lowercase letter words, she mastered good. She could actually phonetically read them for me. But once we got into the capital letters, she was having a hard time. So right now we're also working on capital letters and learning to recognize them. So that is what we're using. So this is what I was telling you guys that I found that I'm enjoying. So like I said, this is going to be something we work on through summer and then into the next school year. Another thing that we use quite a bit is the beginning reading Hooked on Phonics. This is pretty old. I used it with my middle son. And with this one, we do the little CD that it comes with. We do the letter sounds. We do the flashcards that it comes with. And she has actually already read this story here. The first, or yeah, on track 10, the Fat Cat, Fat Rat story. So she was actually already able to read this story. And right now we're working on the letter N sound. So I'm not going to move her ahead because she's still mastering that sound and the J sound. Those are 2 of the sounds that actually she's having trouble with. So, or memorizing. But this is something that we are still continuing to work on. Other thing that we started working on was with the Bob books. And with the Bob books, she's already been able to read the first 3 books. She's having a good time with these books, actually. So we're going to continue to just kind of work from these books here. For phonics sounds, we're working out of my beginning sound clip cards. She loves working on these. So for the most part, I let her either circle them or use the little clothespins to work from these. And then also the other thing from my own store that she works on a lot is the beginning sound CVC word cards. So with these are the ones that we're working on now. And if you're not familiar with them, I do have a video showing you guys these cards that I put together. They come in packs with all the vowels, and it's just CVC words. So you have the red cards are the A, the green cards are the E, the purple cards are the U, the pink cards are the I, and then the blue cards are the O. So it's just a really fun way to kind of remember the sounds. We do work from this card. I try to have her recognize a picture and the beginning sound. So like that, it's easier when she sees the apple, she knows it's ah, you know, duck. And it is helping her. It's helping her quite a bit. So these are the ones that we're currently working on. That is how we're kind of just working through those reading lessons. And then the other thing that I ended up buying for her, and she's actually great at it, is these CVC building mats from the Muffet Girls. So with these cards, this is how I'm kind of just incorporating some spelling with her and word building and just kind of hands-on to, you know, just reading. So it comes with a little building mat. And as she builds the words, she writes them on this. And I'm kind of just going one mat at a time. So right now we're still working from mat 1. And she can basically build every single one of these words and spell them out, sound them out, and write them. So that is what we're working on also as far as phonics and reading right now. And this just kind of gives her a little bit more, you know, busy work and working with her hands, not just workbooks. Okay, so as far as math goes, we started the school year with Texas Mathematics, and then I was able to find an accompanying just practice book that goes with this book. And she loves this math book. It's actually worked perfectly fine. This comes with 2 books, so it's volume 1 and then volume 2. This one, we only got to volume 1 about halfway, and then I stopped using it because it, let me show you real quick. It got to the point where there was a lot more counting and numbers, and Evelyn still was having a lot of trouble with their number recognition. Okay, so she got to about here in her math workbook, so about 103 or 105, page 105. We stopped here because a lot of it was more number recognition and her having to write her numbers, and she still doesn't recognize her numbers very well. So we took a break from this, and then we just kind of took it back to basics. I decided not to move her along with this because it was beginning to be kind of tedious. Her brothers were helping her on some of them. But I decided to go ahead and take a break from that and just focus on number recognition. So for number recognition, we've just been using simple flashcards, simple hands-on activities like this one. This one, I pull all the cards out and she has to first count and then count the objects and then put them next to the number, corresponding number. And then I was just kind of printing out worksheets from education.com. As far as number order and number recognition. And then I also printed this out for her, and I would lay this out on her desk anytime we worked on anything. So that is basically what we're doing. The other thing that I changed for her was her morning work binder. I made it so it was kind of number recognition friendly. So in the morning when she was doing her calendar, she's also working on her numbers and counting. So I kind of put this together for her with her in mind. I do have it on my Teacher Pay Teachers. So I have an area for her sight word. I have an area for her name practice. We have an area for our weather tracking, weather tracking. We have, if you guys own my old morning time calendar, it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of laid out the same, only this one is just black and white. You have her weather words, her 5-day forecast, and then we go into the calendar pages. The calendar pages, I left them super basic. I wanted it to be so we can go through the date. And we were basically, what I do is we use this little calendar here. So I changed the date. Obviously, today's not 26. Today's actually the 28th. And we fill the calendar up and she can see the number, recognize it, write it in her calendar. And then when she would write it in her calendar, then I have these number pages that I put together from number 1 through 31, and we find the corresponding number page. So for instance, let's just say today was the 26th. I would put it on the page 26, and that would be the number page that we worked on for that day. For the next day, the 27th, then we would work on this page. Today's the 28th, so then she would work on this page. And it's actually helping her out to recognize the number. She gets to write it. She gets to count it. She gets to do a little bit of a search and find. My son actually taught her how to tally, so she gets to tally it and then color in, count and color again down here in the 10 frames. So this is how I'm also incorporating counting and numbers into her morning time. And so far, so good. She's been enjoying this quite a bit. We've been working through this we're going to continue to work through this through summer in hopes that come fall, she'll kind of have some of these numbers a little bit more recognized so we can continue working on this. So that is where I'm at as far as math. Okay, so as far as her extra work, her science, social studies, and geography, we didn't get very far with it. It doesn't mean she's not doing the lessons, because she does sit in on the lessons with her brothers quite a bit. As far as Science Fusion goes, we only did like 2 lessons. And then we kind of stopped. And it was mainly because, one, I wasn't scheduling it properly. So I was never really finding the time to sit with her and do her science lesson, because I do have the boys on a different science curriculum, or different level, I should say. So it was kind of getting hard to do it. So we never did the design process one. That's kind of where we stopped. Am I going to have her finish this book? I don't know. I don't think so. I found a different one actually in my bookshelf that I'm actually kind of liking a little better, that I might have her work from this coming school year. I don't know yet. I'm undecided. So will I have her finish this? Probably not. I don't know. We'll see. My World Social Studies. I didn't like this book. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like this. I've never used this before. And I think I mentioned it in my curriculum picks video. I've never done social studies for a kindergarten level. When I started my boys, I started both of them in 1st grade. So I never did a kindergarten level social studies. I didn't like it. I mean, I just, some of the lessons that she was doing, she was just kind of going online. I found this really great YouTube channel called Kids Academy, and they have an amazing section on social studies. So what I was doing was I was looking up the topic on YouTube, and then I would just have her watch whatever educational videos based on that topic. Now, if she wanted to do the lesson on here, then I allowed her to, but I wasn't forcing it. Not only that, Evelyn has spilt juice on this book pretty early on into the school year. And for a couple of days, we weren't able to work from it because it was soaking wet. So we just kind of stopped using it. I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan of this one, guys. I am sorry. I tried. Will I have her work from this going through the summer? I don't know. I mean, the topics are cute. If I can find accompanying videos on that Kids Academy YouTube channel, then maybe I will. We'll see. It's not something that we're going to be doing right now, though. So I don't know. Geography, she did like this a lot. And one of the things that I did like about this geography, that it was pretty easy for even my sons to almost help her with it. So it wasn't always me having to do this with her. What I was doing was, if I was working with, let's say, Adrian, I would tell Vincent, hey, go sit with your sister and work on one of her geography pages. So a lot of these pages were done with the boys. So as far as all these things, we're kind of just taking a break from and just kind of focusing on those letter sounds. So this is going to be something that I have her work from come fall. So we did like it. It's pretty simple and easy to follow. So that is that. Okay, so besides number recognition, these are the only two other things that Evelyn is working on throughout summer. And this here is just an interactive notebook that I put together for her, that we're just kind of working on one letter sound, one sight word a day. And these are, some of the pages are from JDA, her alphabet interactive notebook. Some are just from totschooling.net. And then some of these are actually from this Reading Mama, the Reading the Alphabet curriculum. So what I do is I cut out all the pages, I glue them in here and have them ready for her for the next day, because we are doing, like I said, one letter a day. A lot of this stuff she can work pretty independently with. So that is kind of my goal, for her to just kind of work pretty independently through this interactive notebook while I work with the boys throughout the summer. And she's getting her review when it comes to letter sounds with this little interactive notebook. And she's also getting her review with her sight word with this little interactive notebook. So that is all really we're focusing on this summer. And every once in a while we work from this and her writing book. So that is basically what I'm doing. But like I said, I'm working with this very slow with her. And then obviously her reading journal. Her reading journal, the only reason we're continuing using it is because she likes to sit in a lot on the stories that her brothers are reading. And there's just times where I do a secondary book, like a read aloud book. And if I feel like the book that the boys are reading is too long, I give her a shorter story picture book, and I do the writing. I kind of just ask her what we read about, and I fill it out for her, and she just kind of does the drawings. So that is kind of what we're doing right now as far as her little reading journal. And this is just because we're continuing to do read alouds, and she gets to do her pages, and I don't force her to do anything that she doesn't feel like doing on whatever day. She, you know, like the story sequencing, she's not really into that right now, so we don't worry about that too much. She likes to talk about the main character usually and her favorite part of the story, and draw the book cover. To her, that is pretty fun. So that's kind of where I'm letting her go as far as the reading journal. So one of the things that I do want to mention before I go is my goal is to start a new school year sometime in July. If I can't, then August it is. We always start in August anyway. But because I'm kind of just rolling into it, I kind of was thinking we're going to be able to start a little sooner. But we'll see. I'm going to see where these little waves of schoolwork and everything takes us. So like I said, I'm not too worried about the grade level. If she's having to do all this all over again next school year, I'm okay with that. Right now, I'm kind of feeling her out, seeing how far we can go with, you know, what I'm doing right now. And then, like I said, come July, come August, we'll see where we can take off from. I personally don't feel comfortable moving her on to first grade, knowing that she's not ready for it. For the next coming school year, I'm going to stick with the work that we have. I'm going to try to see what is really going to work and what's not going to work. I never have issues pulling stuff out that's just not working. I feel like if we're not enjoying it, I'm not enjoying it, it can go. I did find another phonics program from a fellow homeschool mom that I follow on Instagram, and I went ahead and purchased that for Evelyn. We are probably hoping to start that in the fall and see where that goes also and how far we can get into that. But we'll see how that goes. For now though, this is what we're going to just kind of stick with, and you know, I'll probably do an update video in a couple months and show you guys, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll be a little further along with this stuff than we are now. Okay guys, so that is where we're at as far as this school year. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys have any questions or just anything you want to comments or anything, let me know down in the comment box below. So for now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.